ground, man!
Oh no! Oh no! Mutation wings, eat the blood of your enemy.
Army Men, Sarge's Heroes!
Army Men, Sarge's Heroes. I remember renting this game a lot as a kid from Blockbuster back in the Mesozoic era. And a couple weeks ago when I was playing Army Men, Soldiers of Misfortune, I kept thinking to myself, man, I really want to play a real Army Men game. So I went over to my local retro game store and picked up this, Army Men, Sarge's Heroes. I'm going to be comparing it heavily to Army Men, Soldiers of Misfortune, so if you haven't seen that video yet, consider yourself lucky. Let's roll out!
Alright, so right off the bat, we are Sergeant Hawk, which is much cooler than 10-year-old Private Timmy Reynolds. But the controls are the same as Soldiers of Misfortune. However, I'm willing to forgive Sarge's Heroes for two reasons. Number one, the bullets move at speeds that give you no chance to sidestep them. And number two,
the N64 controller only has one stick, while the PlayStation 2 controller, on the other hand, has two! Use them!
so how do you aim in this game? Well, you can go into first-person mode and line up your shot, but there's also an auto-aim system that if they're in front of you, you can just shoot and it'll strike your foe down. But it never feels too cheap. And so we start out the game, I walk out of the barracks, shoot some guys dead, and then I gotta fight a flamethrower guy. Oh, he's too close, he's chasing me, oh! And I died. Alright, so this game is tough. You fight a lot of guys and take a lot of damage. Thankfully, there are lots of health packs and tons of weapons. I'm talking flamethrowers, shotguns, mortars, bazookas, and so much more. I gotta say, for an N64 game, this game is much better than Soldiers of Misfortune. So you fight through a bunch of guys, feeling awesome, using heavy ordnance to blow them up, and eventually you get to Colonel Grimm, and making this mission into an escort mission. Sorry, Grimm. Now here is the biggest problem with Army Men Sarge's Heroes. There aren't any checkpoint. This ain't Needle Mouse the Hedgehog. You'll die. You won't get a star from last place you were. So if you or one of the 50 escort mission VIPs died, you gotta go back to the very beginning of the level. And this can be very frustrating. You can be 10, 15, 20 minutes into a mission and have to go back and do the whole thing over again. Missions usually have multiple objectives. If you could use just one of these as checkpoints, the game would be much, much simpler. But no, you gotta fight tooth and nail to be the babysitter. And if the kids get snatched, you fail. Eventually I got Grimm over the minefield and past the tanks, and just as we got on the helicopter, we began to head back. But when we were heading back to the HQ, we saw a blue spy, and we figured, hey, capturing a blue spy would be an excellent trophy. So I head down, fight some guys, get my HP down to nothing, save myself, fight a little more, and then get hunted by a dog by the shotgun guy. Flamethrower guys and shotgun guys are particularly problematic since they run and chase you and shoot you. Oh, jeez, how am I gonna get this shotgun guy without him blasting my pristine HP? How about my patented screw the walls technique? Perfect. So eventually I track the blue spy to a portal, and when I go through the portal, I get transported to a strange and terrible world, where everything is really big and the level design is really fun and clever. And we encounter the game's biggest pitfall. I think it wants to be a platformer, but the jump is so uncontrollable. You don't even have a vague idea of where Sarge is going to land when you go to jump. See, they tempt you with this. Go get that weapon. But, you see, it's impossible to get there, and even worse, try and come back. After several attempts, I gave up. It's not really essential, just a reward for anyone stupid enough to master this game's ridiculous jumping mechanic. So I fight around the bathtub, grab the spy, take him back to our HQ, and then it gives me one of the funniest things I have ever seen in a cutscene. Colonel Grimm and Sergeant Hawk have escaped and captured a blue intelligence officer. Also, Sarge found one of our portals. What?
Oh, that was great! Play it again in slow motion!
next mission, I had to save our heavy machine gunner man, Riff. And this mission took over an hour, mainly because they start you fighting a tank, and they give you mines to do it. The only problem is that they don't work. The tank moves across a preset path, but the problem arises after it hits the first mine, because after it does that, it won't move anymore. Anyway, I fought my way into the compound and killed everyone, and then I got lost. I mean, there is a door to the next area, but the switch to open it doesn't really work. Actually, it only doesn't work unless you are standing in a pinpoint, precise, perfect spot. So I fought the enemies, and then I fought to stand in the perfect spot to open the next door, and then the fuse has been lit. You have 60 seconds to rescue Riff. Ah! What, like, oh, machine guns? I don't have time to deal with you! The fuse has been lit! Is it gonna blow him up? Is it gonna blow up the whole area? The map, maybe! Alright, come on, Riff, we gotta go! So I grabbed Riff and I ran to the door. And here's where a huge problem arose. I needed to take out the gunners on my way there, but I didn't, because I didn't have enough time. And the time is still ticking down. I think this whole area is gonna blow. If I stick my head out, I'll get killed. But the lever is in their firing line, and I need at least 10 seconds to line up the perfect to open the lever. Oh, so what am I going to do?
Riff has been killed. Mission failed.
Too good to be real, I got to the next level. In this level, I had to save another one of Sarge's buddies. By the way, why is this game called Sarge's Heroes? None of these guys are Sarge's heroes. If anything, Sarge is their hero. I don't know, no need to nitpick, because this next level is a doozy. It took me a few tries because there are so many guys, especially near the end. Even if I pop my head out to try and thin their numbers, I get capped. Well, technically speaking, the only objective for this mission is to get to the bridge. Awesome! And it worked, bringing me to the hardest freaking level I have ever come in contact with. First off, they start by adding in bazooka guys. These guys can easily one-shot you, dead, no checkpoint, even through walls. And on top of that, there was the most infuriating platform section I have ever encountered in a video game. These 3 stupid rocks. You cannot control a jumping Sarge. He'll either go too far left, too far right, or just too far. Boom! Dead! No checkpoints. No! Dang it! Son of a horsey! Maybe if it had a checkpoint so I could try multiple times, I'd forgive them. But every single misstep meant going back to the beginning of the level. Good luck dodging the solid mortar rockets! Ugh, those are anti-tank, not anti-infantry! After an hour and a half, I finally made it past that platforming section from hell. I collected some weapons. A lot of weapons, actually. Okay, so where do I go next? There's no real path. Oh my golem! This was a side section for the platforming veterans. I spent 3 half-hour play sections trying, hoping to pass the most tedious platforming section ever. Alright, let's get back on track. Maybe the level will be easier with the weapons cache I finally earned. No, of course not. Why did I think I'd be allowed to use them? So now that I know the right way to go, the level was easier. Don't get me wrong, the one-hit KO guys are still here, but I actually managed to save Private Hoover. Not to nitpick, since I realized the rule is leave no man behind. But why did I need to play the most infuriatingly cheap and difficult level to save a private? So, After that, I ran into another portal, and I just gotta say I love the portal levels. I mean, the human world is a mess, but seeing army men next to other objects that I recognize is so neat. But, much like the last mission, it took me over an hour and a half because of cheap deaths, rocket launchers, hidden flamethrowers, and mines right in front of health packs. Oh my! But eventually I saved thick. The next level had me breaking into a base to save Colonel Grimm's daughter, Vicky. The level is relatively easy and fun, only one restart, and half an hour. But the next mission took over 1 hour. It was a fun level, you got to pop a lot of tan troops with a sniper rifle, but there are a lot of doors, which means you have those pesky levers that are just impossible to open. And they also suggest that you try and save some POW Grey Army men. But that requires you lining up those painstaking levers again, and they follow you until getting killed. At their best, they take bullets instead of you, and at their worst... So I decided not to waste my time freeing them. Since the level is most likely has me backtracking, I'll just save them after killing all the enemies. And this level was tricky. I mean, each area you enter, you can stand near the door and then without alerting the enemies and just pop, pop, pop with your sniper rifle. But you just gotta make sure that you go all the way through the door.
I got squished.
So after several attempts and reattempts, I got to Shrap. You see, the Tans have this horrible machine that turns men into horrifying spiders. I don't know how it does that, but I've got to act fast before they turn my buddy Shrap into one. And I do. And then they have us escape. But I am not babysitting Shrap. So, I fight all the way to the LZ, killing all the Tan troops on the way, and then I start letting Grey troops go. Alright, the radar says that there's a Tan and a Grey in this next room, so I'll burst in, blast the Tan army man with my shotgun, and then let the Grey go. Okay, alright, as you were, sir, I guess. So I head back and get Shrap because it's just a straight shot from here to the helicopter. Come on, buddy, come on! Hurry! The door's closed! No!
Alright. Alright. Okay. 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 Not okay! Not okay! How could you do this to me, Sarge? How could you? So, in conclusion, this game is really unfair and really hard. I've only played for 7.5 hours, and I don't think it gets any easier from here on out. The game is funner than Soldiers of Misfortune, what with the extra weapons, playing as an awesome army sergeant, but unfortunately I reached my threshold of BS. I couldn't go on anymore. I mean, the game is cool with cheat codes letting you play as Vicky, the Tin Soldier Vicky. I'll probably play the game on my own time with the fun codes enabled. But if you'd be willing to watch me play the game as Vicky with unlimited ammo and invincibility enabled, I'd be happy to let you go along that journey. Just comment in the comments. Well, where else would you comment? If you can comment somewhere else, go for it. But until then, check out the friggin' end slate! Signing off! Over and out! Affirmative, General.
Good. Got it.
That's the sound Alex makes when she wakes up and sees me in bed.